Good morning, beautiful people. Um, Hi, how are you? I'm feeling very much the beginning of the holiday season, and it's an interesting thing because we can be really. I was listening to the radio on my way to work, and it was saying how the holidays season can be so much more stressful for people just because of, either just the added work like spending a whole weekend or decorating as we did this weekend, which is such a joyful thing for me too. We get outdoor lights and indoor lights and make the living room really beautiful. Uh but this year I'm feeling, I think it's because from the work that we're doing, that there's a joy in it. There's a joy in the holiday season. It's not the expectation of Christmas Day itself. It's that joy of unity, that joy of celebrating something, family, commitment, community, um, seasonal blessings, from all fronts, Hanukkah, and of course Christmas, and then the Celtic version of it through winter solstice and Kwanzaa. So there's there's a way that we can also move inside of ourselves and realize that simultaneously people are celebrating this all over the world. So it could have an effect of creating a planetary unification just in our hearts and our minds and our souls. With that in mind, there's added responsibilities, especially if you have family or you have kids, loved ones, shopping, this and that. So, as you know, I like to pick a card from my animal power deck. And today I picked shark. And I went, ooh, shark. And I had just read something about a great white, not whose life was ended by an orca today. So, but then I looked further and it said flow forward. So I'm going to read you a little something here. Shark appears to help you find pure flow with the universe. Shark's graceful, confident swim reminds you to stay open and adaptable rather than resisting what life throws your way. And this also refers to choppy waters. They go on to say something about that. But what I loved is shark medicine allows you to become at one with all that is, flowing forward in a state of continual learning, openness, and love. I love that. Becoming one with all that is, flowing forward in a state of continual learning, openness, and love. And if you've ever seen a shark, which I'm sure all of us have, unfortunately, in a contained area, you see that there's just such a power in the way they move. And my one experience with a shark was in Australia. And I was standing on the beach in Byron Bay, and with my friend, we love to go jump in the ocean at sunset. I'm like, oh my God, look, there's a dolphin. And, we had our suits on, we're running down there. And all of a sudden I'm like, huh. And the movement was like this rather than like this. So we came to, a quick stop because that shark was in the wave, meaning it wasn't very far away. And so, but it kind of made me happy just to be that close to a shark. Anyway, I hope that you're finding the flow in your life. And I hope that the work that we're doing is kind of thinning the veils for you, and that you're having moments where something blessed comes through, a feeling of love comes through, maybe even the sparkle of 5D come through. And I'm going to share something with you. So many years ago, I had this experience sitting with my friend, and we lived in this house. We lived in a mansion, really, with a bunch of hippies, is what we did. And it was for a short time before I went to chiropractic school. And my friend just had gotten this job at this the opening famous restaurant at Sojourner, a health food restaurant. And she told me all about it. And all of a sudden I saw this blue light float around her and disappear. It's like, well, that's interesting. And didn't see it for so many years. And then I went to an ashram and they talked about something called the blue pearl. And I wondered, what that was. I wonder what that blue pearl was. And so then occasionally, especially when I got into my latest office where I've been for about 12 years, every once in a while, maybe once or twice a year, I'd see this blue floating around them. Well, now it's almost every day I see it, and it's always around a person. And you can see it's kind of the colors that we're seeing here in this slide. And so I'm talking with a friend. I meet up with a friend I hadn't seen in years and years. And so we're just talking about everything, and I'm telling her everything. And I think to tell her about this floating blue pearl. And then it comes to me. The people that is around are intending in their souls to ascend. They're already in that bleed through of they're working through their things, and there's this bleed through. And so, because I was telling her about 5D and all these experiences that I was having of being, in our meditations together or just on my own, and being actually changed to 5D in three different experiences. And so, I could tell she's like, I heard her in her mind go, wonder if she'll see it around me. 10 minutes go by. I'll be darned if I didn't see that blue floating around her in a restaurant. So I'm sensing that the work we're doing is really, truly thinning the veils. And I know that sometimes we see it in the world and sometimes we don't. But I know, especially, thank you everyone who just made way and part of the veils in your own life to be here, but we have our 8 today. And so we're going to get to do some big work. And someone did ask about that deck. It's really great. I think it's got 75 animals. It's an animal power deck, and it's Allison Charles. And I have a number of decks like this, but this one's got so many in them, and they're very short and succinct, and and they're very colorful, and sometimes you get one, you're like, why did I get that one? But there's always a very positive message to it. And so I'm very grateful to my friend Kelly who offered this to me. Okay, so we are going to now proceed on our journey today. Thank you for letting me share those snippets. So today we're going to engage in clearing the wall of Maya with the Crystallis Code Mudras. And I thought, really, I wanted to really just feel that out there in what we call the universe, these frequencies are there. They're there. And I know that they're in different systems than, we can only imagine our system of beingness to have this physical body and to have, a soul and to have an etheric body and an aura and those kind of things. We think we're very sophisticated because we know all these things about what we really are, but we can't even imagine what's out there. But I know a lot of these avatar frequencies exist, and their bodies, if you want to say bodies, are 7D. The frequencies are even higher than that vibrating. They're almost unimaginable. So it is a great privilege to get to work with this energy, because as we can think back to the time of Christ and the time of Buddha, this was a very special thing. And especially Buddha had to work Siddhartha had to work very, very hard to go from being probably an entitled prince to being an ascetic, living under a tree and speaking the truths that were coming to him as he fasted and became very, very thin. So, Jesus was already born an adept in a very sacred kind of way. And there's a really wonderful book called Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus. And there's two of those books. And I reread it recently because this woman channeled it, and it feels way more authentic to the real story of Jesus and Mary and Anna, and of course, Joseph and Joseph Arimathea. So this is a time of year where we get to reflect beyond, holiday decorations into this really beautiful presence that really made a great effort to be here on the planet, and in a very short time offer us beautiful teachings, which are just so wonderful to take to heart. Okay, so today we're going to go back. We worked on this before, but we're gonna swing back to lying, because lying is what's going on in almost every sector of all the governments in the world. I mean, I think this is how they perceive they're going to do their job. We can only imagine what's not being told to us, and we can also sometimes figure out what is being told to us isn't either the whole truth or is an out and out lie. And then, of course, if you kind of look at, even in our own country, the spectrum, we have two or three sides of the coin politically. So, we're just looking at all this, and it's really crazy. So today we are going to work with lying from being sentenced, and we're also going to go from being stunted. So enlarges the truth. Okay, so these are the two we're going to work with. And you can see in all of these, and mind you, if you don't have this chart, which I think you do, absolutely feel free to email me. I'll send it to you. That's A. B, feel free to kind of check in and do any of these that you feel like you want to do, either for yourself or the planet. And really just look up the mudras, and you got it. And you can do them for a minute each, or you can do them for 5 minutes each, or you can do them for 10 minutes each, depending how deeply you want to go into that wall. We kind of do it in a very intuitive way here. So today we're doing lying from being sentenced. So what does that mean? I think being sentenced means something is put upon you that becomes a cloak, that becomes something that you're forced to wear. And we can think about it in so many different ways, particularly in the realm of justice. But people lie to get out of things, right? They lie to survive, basically. People lie to survive, or they lie because they think in order to survive, they have to be on the top and remain on the top. So I can only imagine how many lies are told a day around the world. I mean, it's unfathomable. So as you can see, we have Trayan, the void, and we have Baratana, which is that evolutionary spiral. And then we have Zayn, who's master healer. Both of these are just such exquisite vibratory frequencies. Zayn is one that I would ask you to really delve into, because Zayn has so many wise answers. And I sense that Confucius was a Zayin. Okay. So, and one thing that you can think about in doing is you move from left to right and down, and from right to left and up, and you create that symbol. And then you open the doors 3 times and you step in. And then the mudra. And when you get in that portal, you can ask questions. You can ask questions and you can ask for healing. And then you get quiet and wait, see what happens. Sometimes I do too. I go portal within a portal. This is generally the work that I have to do every day because I have to keep going into the deeper realms to keep clearing things, you know, for myself and us and the planet. So here we go. The first one, we're just going to do a run through here. So tray in, va. You basically, I'm going to refresh. Remember, we've done this one before. In ring finger, center of the palm, join the other fingers together. And then as you do it, if you feel like you can almost imperceptibly pull them apart to create that vacuum, that void. It's a very interesting feeling. Yeah. Okay, that's part A. And B is Baratana. And see how the thumb and the index finger makes a spiral. Look down at your hands now, make that spiral. And join little, ring, and middle fingers together, and then the thumbs together. And that's your Baratana. Na, na. And then we move to Zayin, that beautiful Zayin, Za. And so the mudra can start this way and open into a portal. And you can even open that portal this way. And you can open that portal to include yourself in times when you need information or you need healing. So Zay is the right side and in is the left side of the healer. Okay, Zay in, okay? And then what we have been doing here is we have been finishing every time with Sanat Kumara, just to have a fill-in of source, whatever that is, a spiritual source or the source of oneness, and that mantra is Ra, Ra, and you can see that symbol is a little tiny point. So we do these as we're going to focus by number on this aspect or this part of the wall of Maya. And if you can ever think of any energy or any frequency in you that has, well, I told a lie, I told a fib, I told this or that, you can throw that into the mix too. If ever you feel like, well, I want to clear that in me. And if that's not feeling a particular resonance, then we really can move into that density right now of lying going on in the world. And the truth is oneness. And the truth is love. And the truth is humanity can be connected as a oneness, just like all the other species are. And yes, other species fight amongst each other, et cetera, but they also maintain a habitat where they survive and sometimes reach across the species spectrum. I mean, what did I see the other day? I saw a tiger and a monkey hanging out together. I mean, I saw all these different species, you know, just hang out together, you know, in these different slides. And it just made me feel like, hey, we could do that. We could do that. That'd be just so awesome. Okay. So now we're going to do it. Everybody, we're going to do it. We're going to just put our whole field and create this whole, what we're going to do today is we're going to clear this, we're going to call in and attune to the wall of Maya, and then we're going to do our work, and then we're going to take whatever comes through and we're going to lift up and we're going to just spread it as a possibility throughout the planet. We're just going to, okay, we know how to do this. You know why? Because y'all are becoming quantum whisperers. That's what we're doing. We're going on the quantum. This is exactly how we work. And we whisper. And we whisper with our hands. And we whisper with our internal mantras. It's easy. It's basic. It works. It's proven. And this is our contribution. This is how we're participating for peace. Okay, so now I'm going to invite you all to move into tray in. First, you're going to concentrate on this frequency, 15, 16. You can feel it. And it's as I tune into this aspect of lying, it's being it's being shut off from a very basic part of the self. And in its most extreme nature, it's sociopathic. And we certainly have that around the world. So we're going to tune into that as it's like a cutoff. It's like instead of being, there's a stopgap there, and it's the lie. So form your mudra. And one by one, I'm going to link with all of you. I thank you all again for being here. We're linking the mudras together as a one. And that void matches the void in that person. That system. And you can feel a pulse. Very slow. This one's taking a little longer because it is so dense. And there's a hint of light coming through now. Even saw a brief flash of that beautiful blue. And so, whenever you're ready, shift to Baratana, the spiral. Na, na, na. Attending to and attuning to the spiral of evolution, the spiral of ascension, observing the spiral of descension, descending further into density, even as the spiral of ascension moves and flows forward as the shark into the increasing speed of vibration, acceleration, vibration of this reality. It's an acceleration. And allow yourself that possibility while observing the effect of the lying. There we go. I'll break through there. And what I'm seeing is that there's a worldwide attempt to lie to us to stabilize the thought from, well, we have to tell everybody these lies to create some form of stability. But it creates density. So we're rising above that without judgment. And then next we move to Zayn, the portal. The portal to 5D, the portal to the truth, the portal to realization as one. Realization as one. Flowing through that healing journey to that realization. And so what we're doing here is we're thinning the inclination to lie. We're thinning the inclination to lie. So feel that. And then we shift to Sanakamaru, Ra. And here I'm hearing the word source knowingness. Source knowingness, which equates to truth. And take a breath in and take in that source knowingness right into your solar plexus. Take it in with a nod. So it's a very interesting thing to, when you hear something, sometimes as humans, our immediate response is an ego. Lash out, an ego block, an ego, emotional outburst. But if we can learn to listen and not judge that which we perceive to be a lie, and then move inside ourselves to what we know to be true and hold that energy there, you get to tick up. That's a tick up in the ascension spiral. It's really interesting. It's like, if you can pull it off, it's a little tick up. And I feel that ascension spiral moving in that clockwise way. Moving clockwise. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That one was pretty intense. That was very deep. Actually, it was thick. It was very, very thick. So now we're going to do lying from being stunted. And we're going to use Athabascar, Christos, and Aduhentes. And I give you a little bit more insight into these avatars frequencies. So Athabascar is form, and it really has to do with how we construct this reality in 3D on that grid, 3D, 4D, time, space, how that grid holds it all together, but it's, there's so much more dimensionality available to us through, our work with the 5D crystal realms and the presentation of these avatar frequencies as 7D, and going much, much deeper to 9D as a possibility. So at the Bhaskar, it has this, it has this formation that is actually looks more like a triangle this way. And Christos, we know, we've been exposed to Christos, but if we must note that Christos is not the typical Christian cross where Christ died on the cross. It is equilateral, as above, so below, as to the left body, so to the right body. So there's a equality there, and each of those really are quite delicious affirmations. So on the right side, it's I am immortal. And on the left is I'm eternal. I'm immortal love, I'm eternal love. Up above, I'm transcendent love. And below, I am depth love. And then from here, it moves out in those directions, and that's infinite. So it's really quite the affirmation on dimensional love. And then the Arahentes, if you look at each of those pointed corners, there are seven gateways. They're the dreamers. And in that dreaming frequency, they hold very many mysterious aspects of our reality that we don't pay much attention to. One of them being the mystery. One being grace. One being the incalculable. Just by example. So these frequencies have shown up, at the Bhaskar, in, if nothing else, in science. Christos, of course, on the planet, and the Arahentes in the more shamanic realm. So they come through in these different ways in this reality. Now we're quantifying them and qualifying them. So here we are, a line from being stunted. So at the Bhaskar, we've done this before. The right index finger is closer to the body. And you can see, and you can bend those fingers, you can have them up, but it's best bent. Okay, and there's a pulse there, and we're pulsing dimensionally. We're expanding out and letting go so that we have maybe a little touch to the possibility of dimensionality. And the sound is very subtle. Okay, our next one. Christos. We, usually in the Christian, it's closed fingers. These are open. Thumb to heart, head bowed, nodding. Namaste. Get to do this in yoga all the time. But Christos mudra is 3. 3 means most holy, blessed one. Christos initiates us onto our path of awakening through love, right? 3. So beautiful. And our next one is aduhentes. You see, that has a Latina, aduhentes. And aduhente is really so many stories to tell about them, but they are the dreamers, and their mantra is sta. And you can see, you're going to put your thumb over your ring finger nail, and then you're going to put right over left. And if you look down, now you have 5 fingers that are exposed. Well, where's the other 2 of the 7? You turn them over. And it's these guys right here. Okay. Core and grace. So actually, it's core is grace, and then the last one is the incalculable. Okay. So this one can be done it can be stationary, And you can move back and forth, or you can wave it. You can wave it. Which is quite lovely. And we use this in other work that we do. Okay, before, is thinning the veils also tied into personal boundaries, seeing things differently in relationships? Wow. Okay. So, is thinning the veils also tied into personal boundaries? I would say the way that we talk about personal boundaries now, personal boundaries are very important. But as you thin the veils, you get clear about your personal boundaries. You're like, well, that's a no. And that's a yes. You see, that's a yes. And, you know, all relationships, especially if you live with someone or someone's, it reflects back to us what we are. No matter what someone says, you can get a reflection like, whoa, reaction, or you can get a you can have sentience come like, that was interesting. So I think it's a very, very good question. And also, for those of you who don't know this, and I'm doing a little commercial break now because I just saw something, I create a deck of cards that has all of the avatars and their mudras and mantras and their 5-point flow of evolution. And these are really good. Like if you have one of these that you want to put out, just put them out on your altar and say, okay, I'll see you at the end of the day. And they do the work for you. It's very interesting. And I recently just redid a whole, for one of our members, a manual that would also be included in it. So if you're interested in it, get back to me and I'll send those out to you. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. I spent years making them. Okay, so I think knowing that we are ready to then, of course, use our Sanat Kumara and go back to source, we will begin our flow here, lying from being stunted. Yeah, that's the reason someone does it is they feel very small and they're wanting to enlarge their perception of themselves or their perception of who they are to other people. And this is very, very important, you know, to political leaders because they've got to be the big person so that, you know, they get to hold their space, be it their country or their, you know, their territory or whatever it is, whatever they're wanting to take over or just maintain. So yeah, there's a lot of this that goes on, you know, in this very interesting reality we're participating in. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. We're moving now into Athabasca. Forming that mudra. If you feel you can lower it. You can have it in front of you and pulse very slowly through the dimensions. There's definitely breadth, width, and depth. And time and the spiritual aspect of life. And then it moves into the higher vibratory frequencies and ways of organizing our reality. So we're pulsing through that. With the purpose of reformatting possibility of aligning with the truth and aligning with the what is. This is all about form and reforming. And it's about survival. So what I want you to do, dear beautiful beings, is to pulse and let that pulse go out. Way, way out there. Just pulse. Let it go dimensional. Yes, that was beautiful. And we're connecting with that now. We're actually connecting with the I want to say baseline frequency of Athabasca, actually. Very out there in the cosmos. And it's bringing back through us, it's taking this opportunity to bring back through us another possibility of structuring. This planet is very much based on line to stay in power. It's bringing back a different possibility because we have our 8. Because we have our 8. And hold that now. Switch to Christos 3, which is initiating into the possibility of love. And it starts with unconditional love for yourself. Because unconditional love for yourself fills in the pieces from being stunted. And one can be stunted because someone said something nasty to you when you were little. Someone shut you down. Someone abused you. There's so many reasons. But now we pulse. Say yes. There's a vibrational frequency of the Christos. Nodding our heads. Anchoring this frequency into our heart chakras. This also represents the truth of presence. Then we shift to our Adoente star. Dreaming a new dream. What will it be? the truth will be rewarded. Even as the construct, shall we say, of the lie begins to diminish, the results from emanating from the construct, world construct of lying to stay, in power, lying to maintain status or financial gains. Those rewards become increasingly diminished. We dream a new dream. I mean, I'm hearing from the Arahentes, and they're saying this one is very thick, very thick, taking extra time. And they're assisting us now in parting the veils. And they're warning us that it will take time, space for us to experience the results of the work today, but to be patient. In certain parts of this wall, I see strings now, strings rather than solidity. And some of what's coming through, or maybe instead of strings, what I'm seeing is thin openings, slits. This is what I'm seeing, slits, and the light coming through, the 5D light. Numerous slits. And the light is coming through. Almost as if we've taken a blade and sliced through. They said, yes, because you were waving the mudra. Ah, there's 5. There's 5 slits now. How interesting. And they're saying, continue to do this when you think of it. And you can even visualize doing this. There we go. Oh, how interesting. they say, please continue to do this beyond, to keep it that way, because it will close up. There's so many lying people, beings in power right now, so many systems of lying in place. So they say, when you're driving, just visualize this movement for a minute, you know. I'm like, okay, I can do that. That sounds good. Okay, so now we're going to solidify our work with Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara. It's recognized world in our density reality. Sanat Kumara is recognized as a very unique avatar and planetary logos, overseeing the development of this reality. Lightly, ever so slightly pull your middle fingers apart. Just allow some of this powerful presence to come through. Beautiful. Okay, we have our marching orders. Again, just the wave. And if you want, you can offer. That's the other two right here. So the 5 and the 2, the 5 and the 2. And you can do it on the right side of your body, and you can do it on the left side of your body. Different effects. Different effects. The other thing that is included, I'm going to move on here. Thank you so much. Well, let's do this. I'm going to tell you one more thing when we're done. So we just say, hey, love, love, love. Love, love, love. You just say it to yourself. You know what it means now. You go, I am love. And then you go, darn it, I am going to live to love. And that's what, to me, this holiday season is really about, is living to love. And it's acts of kindness, and it's presence, and it's gathering, and it's our spiritual ceremonies, all beautiful. Now we move to I am peace. We be the peace, and we pulse peace. If you can remember, when there's a moment of this, or you read something or see something out there in the world, is, oh yeah, I pulse peace. I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. And it adds, it is that drop in the ocean. But one drop in the ocean is actually about 1,000 drops, because we're working with these frequencies. Okay, love, love, love. We're going to a few more things here to discuss. If you haven't done it, the Mudra Dance is there. If you really want me to send you the easy link, I will. Just let me know. That's A. B, I have completed a manual now that describes all the movements of the avatars. And some of them are pretty complex. So you just tackle the simple ones first, and lots of information about the avatars, and lots of information about the realms, the 5 realms, and how we're working in them. So I think this manual is about 50 pages, if I'm not mistaken, something like that, 40 to 50 pages. And so if you're interested in that, and I would do the deck and that together, you let me know. So, beautiful beings, namaste. that was big work today. That was really, that was the thickest it's been. It really is the thickest it's been. So thank you for your perseverance, and love, love, love to you. Love, love, love to you. Love, love, love to you. Namaste.